Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Welcome back, Phil and Rye on Listen Up as we get ready for a Sweet 16 matchup between the UConn Huskies and the Duke Blue Devils. A little bit unexpected. I'm not sure a lot of people had UConn playing Duke in the Sweet 16, but here we are. Before I get started, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe like always. Let's try to get to 1.93 the next time we get back on Saturday night after the game.
Yeah.
Can't thank you guys enough for the support this month. It's been absolutely unreal. So keep it up. We can't thank you guys enough. But let's get started into this last check-in before the Sweet 16 matchup. Unfortunately, we don't get a rematch of last year's Sweet 16 between UConn and Ohio State. But like I said, instead, it'll be against the Duke Blue Devils. I'm sure Sarah Strong will be watching this game closely, and perhaps this will be a factor into deciding what school she comes to. But the Blue Devils, they haven't had a bad season, finishing 22-11 in a tough ACC conference. Duke defeated Richmond in the first round in a game where they had to battle back some in the second half. And in the second round matchup, they pulled off the upset against Ohio State, where again they had to pull off a comeback in the second half. They were actually down 16 points at one time. Junior guard Reigan Richardson has been the standout star so far for Duke, scoring 25 points in their first game and 28 in the second game. It's a guard heavy lineup for the Blue Devils, kind of similar to UConn, and on paper is a pretty favorable matchup for the Huskies. But I think there will be some sparks in this game. I think Duke's a very scrappy team, aren't afraid of the challenge. And another important thing to remember, no one has home court advantage in this game. The game is in Portland, so no one has that home court advantage. But hopefully the UConn faithful travels well, and we can see a lot of them in the stands. And I'm expecting this game to be kind of similar to the Syracuse game, kind of back and forth. And I think it's going to be kind of hard to pull away from the Blue Devils in this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, very good game preview. And let's check in. We can't forget predictions. That's what they're all waiting for at the end of this video, Ryan. Well, not that this really matters. So last night I went on here. There's only, if I'm counting up right, there's only 3 seniors on the whole roster. I love to get into this kind of stuff. Again, not that it really matters the outcome of the game, but then I was like, all right, I'm going to say this live on the air, on Listen Up with Ryan, see how much he smiles at this. Because at the end of the day, you're always telling me, Phil, okay, well, that doesn't really matter where they're born, their birthplace, but I like to look anyway. Ryan, you had Delaney Thomas on Duke. She's from Washington, D.C. You have Jaden Donovan from Washington, D.C. And Olivia Martin is from Gaithersburg, Maryland. So, Ryan, a lot of locals on this Duke roster. I never knew that until last night. But not only that, what you factor in more is, I guess, to ask you today on this beautiful Friday, beautiful day outside. What do you think about experience? I know we got into that talk before, but now maybe even a little bit more heavy into that talk because this is March Madness, right? And what did I say? 3 seniors on the whole roster. I'm just kind of thinking to myself, man, Ryan, young team. And I'm not saying UConn has it made easy. I'm not going there. No, 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 because look how far Duke has made it and the performance that they've put on thus far. What I'm saying is, man, how are they pulling this off with such a young team, I guess is a question.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, experience doesn't really matter because you look at some of these other teams in the tournament. You have Hannah Hidalgo kind of leading Notre Dame, Juju Watkins for USC. So some of the other teams as well don't really have, a lot of experience. At least some of these players that are some of the leading scorers for their team. So I don't think experience is really a factor for a lot of these teams who have made it to the Sweet 16. And, UConn, Ashlyn Shade has been the second leading scorer behind Paige Bueckers. So the fact that she's been able to step up, and KK Arnold too, and they've only had 2 games of experience in the tournament so far. So, it's been great to watch the freshmen, not only for UConn, but for some of these other teams too, really come out and shine just like they did in the regular season and carrying that momentum over. So it's really been great to see.
All right, let's go ahead and get into comments, Ryan. Jason D'Amico, this is from the last video. Syracuse coach has high praise for Paige Bueckers. Jason said Paige's greatness is so much more than the sum of her stats. Of course, the telemetry is a good indicator, but it is what Paige does when she is not scoring points or blocking shots that makes her one of the greatest to play the game. I'll say it again. I can count on one hand how many athletes changed their sport like no other. And he goes on to list some like Arthur Ashe, Lawrence Taylor, Michael Jordan come to mind. Paige's game is so good that it elevates everyone on the court. And then he goes on to say, Ryan, and here is the crazy, scary part. She is just getting started, folks. Paige only gets better from here. Peace.
Yeah, I can't disagree with any of that. And I think the important factor that we didn't mention is the fact that she can step on the court and like Jason said, elevate everybody else's game and make everybody else better as a player on the court, which is really something special to watch as we've watched UConn this season and so far in the tournament. And it's also the instincts for Paige, the way she just really just knows what to do and put the team in the best position to win. How easy she makes it scoring at times, just putting herself in the best position to score. So, like I said, it's really been special to watch, and I'm glad we have another whole year of watching Paige in a UConn Huskies uniform.
Man, this is getting interesting. This is getting interesting fast. Phil, you're going to like comments today. Now this is according to Philip Simpson. I have to do my research on this, but this, according to him, he said Clark has faced UConn twice, one with Paige, one without, lost both games. I'm assuming he's talking about Caitlin Clark lost both games.
Yeah, I think I do. I think I do remember both of those games. I do remember UConn winning. I definitely remember one of them. The second one I'm kind of blanking on, but yeah, I don't really like to think of head-to-head matchups. It's kind of hard to kind of judge both players. Like we said before, both players are so different in the way they play. When you talk about Caitlin and Paige, just kind of doing two different things to help their team win. But I think, right now, might be a little biased, but I think Paige has been a little better in terms of the tournament so far. But it definitely will be really interesting if they do somehow, I think, match up. They would face each other in the Final Four. So that would be really interesting if that would happen.
This person says Paige Buckets is the best all-around women's player, better than Clark. Paige now plays with veteran confidence.
Yeah, you can definitely make an argument for Paige being the best all-around player. She might not be the best at one specific thing, but I think when you take a look at offense, defense, shooting and passing, just everything combined, I think you could definitely make an argument that Paige is just kind of the complete all-around player.
How about this one? Bruno Bag of Donuts, Ryan. Bag of Donuts. Top three. Now he goes the other way. Top three, not even close. He goes the other way on this debate. Top three, not even close. She has only played 2 years. Got to be real, unless she takes this team all the way. Maybe Rebecca, Sue, and D. Anyone?
Yeah, like I said, there's so many greats that have walked through the doors of UConn. It's really tough to put Paige in the top 3 already, unless she does get a ring. That there's a lot of I think people look a lot of how many championships you win, how many rings you win, and it definitely is that, it plays a little bit of a factor into it, I guess, how many rings you can win on one team. So I think if Paige would win a ring this year or next year and reach the championship and finally win one, I think it would kind of elevate her perhaps onto top 5 or top 3 player all time at UConn.
All right, predictions. Didn't forget this time. Oh my, I'm going UConn. UConn going to the Elite Eight. But Ryan, I'll go UConn 76 to 7. I'm sorry, 70. Thinking so hard on this score, I can't even speak right now. 76 to 70. 6-point game, 76-70 over Duke.
Yeah, I also do have UConn coming out on top. I'm going to say a pretty close score as well. I think, it seems pretty hard to put Duke away. I think they're going to be able to stay in the game like
Yeah.
Syracuse did. So I'm going to say UConn 73, Duke 69. So, like I said, I think the game's going to be fairly close.
How about head coach Kara Lawson, Ryan? Has the Blue Devils in the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2017-2018 season. So we will have it all, Ryan, approximately 10 o'clock tomorrow night, right back here on Listen Up for the game recap. A trip. Whoever thought we were going to say this when AZ Fudd went down and the rest of them, the rest of them is that. Whoever thought, Ryan, I'd be sitting here with you right now, March 29th. Ryan, a trip to the Elite Eight on the line. All right. Phil and Rye on Listen Up.